Thank you for joining us for the Advancing Oceanside Podcast, brought to you by the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. The Advancing Oceanside Podcast hosts business and community leaders from all industries to help inform, better educate, and ultimately advocate for a prosperous economic climate here in Oceanside. Today on the Advancing Oceanside Podcast, we are celebrating another 40-year anniversary. Joining us is Carly Starr, Executive Director for KOCT, the voice of North County. Before coming to KOCT, Carly was an award-winning filmmaker and the founder of Love Machine Films. After leaving her hectic Hollywood life, Carly brought that same passion for film and storytelling to KOCT. Carly explains that she strives to give a voice to the voiceless, and that's just what KOCT does. KOCT is a nonprofit live stream PEG outlet partially funded by the City of Oceanside and powered by Cox Cable. The organization commits to programming the issues that directly impact the everyday lives of Osiders and aims to keep locals well-informed and actively engaged with the latest Oceanside news. They have consistently remained the voice of North County. I could go on all day about all their shows and their growth, but I'll let the experts share KOCT's success. So, with that, I introduce Carly Starr. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of the Advancing Oceanside Podcast. I will be your host, and today joining me is Carly Starr, the Executive Director for KOCT, the voice of North County. Carly, how are you doing today?
Good.
I'm excited to have you.
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about KOCT, and you guys are celebrating 40 years. So we're going to get into a lot of the details there. But before we get too much into KOCT, can you talk to me a little bit about your background? I'd love to see kind of where you come from.
Well, I was born and raised in North County, and the cool thing is my first internship was at KOCT Television way back when in the late 80s. And so it was kind of cool to start off there. I was heavily into radio, film, and television at Palomar, and then went on to San Diego State. But I started at KOCT, and it was pretty happening. It was a very good experience. And then I went on to network television. I directed shows in San Diego on the networks, and then I ran off to Hollywood and did a lot in Hollywood for a very long time. And then my husband and I had a miracle baby, and we left our busy LA lives and came back to Oceanside, California, where I started a company called Love Machine Films, where we focused mainly on nonprofits and being a voice to the voiceless. And that was a very beautiful experience. We had, American Cancer Society, MS Society, we branded Carl Strauss. We did all kinds of jazz. So it was kind of a cool, innovative place. And I was a documentary filmmaker as well. I did features and I did documentaries. So I've worked in agencies. I've kind of done everything there is to do when it comes to branding or telling a story or creating and marketing.
That's great. Yeah, it sounds like you've had a lot of years of experience in the film industry and have been passionate about it the whole time. So I love that.
The fun thing about telling a story is it's, usually there's different outcomes, so it is a thing. I'm a heavy editor. I've worked super hard in the editing bays in my career, and that's where it's so amazing that you could do anything that you want. So it is a stimulating, inspiring place. That's why it's so awesome to have a daily place like KOCT where you're constantly telling stories.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that segues perfectly into, like I said before, KOCT is celebrating your 40th anniversary. I kind of want to start at the beginning of KOCT. Can you talk to me a little bit about where and how and why it got started?
Well, the 40 years is about Bob, who discovered us, who was really passionate. He was I knew Bob, actually, so it was kind of cool. I remember him when I was young and interning. He went with a few engineers into his garage, and that's what we're celebrating is October 14th, 1981. he went to city council and they agreed that they could be a committee to start the Oceanside Community Channel. And so those smart guys went in their garage and they worked super hard and they came back with, KOCT. That's not what it was called at the time, but and they started off with the city council meetings and then developed. The City of Oceanside has always been a very big support. They've always been, visionaries as well as we are, and and they've supported us and partially fund us, and it's been an amazing 40 years. You can imagine 4 decades of the growth of Oceanside. I mean, just in the last 5 years, you've seen the growth of Oceanside. So it's been very exciting to tell all these stories, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. What's KOCT's mission, and how does the organization aim to support the community?
I became executive director not even 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and um, KOCT needed more support, more financial support, and more budgeting. And I was brought in from my heavy production background.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I've told stories. I've had clients my entire career, and it's a thing that the modern day production company or television stations or people who have such a large facility
Hmm.
need to put into action. And so it's a nice fit to go and to meet with nonprofits and to help tell their stories or city partners. And we are affordable because we are a nonprofit television station and non-biased. So it's been an honor to bring those clients into the building as well. Our daily, we produce many projects for the city contractually. We have Oceanside Update,
Yeah.
Oceanside Spectrum. We do city council, we do city planning. We have all kinds of projects. We update our community and our greater good for what's going on,
Hmm.
as in what is happening within the growth of Oceanside.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to do news briefs, which I'm very proud that we're bringing back.
Hmm.
We're going out and telling spotlighted stories or bringing attention to people in our community who need attention or who can help other people. And KOCT is truly a community television station. I mean,
Yeah.
truly. We are the voice of North County, but we are Oceanside's channel.
Yeah.
So we're heavily Oceanside influenced, and we're on Cox channel 18 and 19,
Hmm.
or you can stream us at koct.org 24/7, which is
Hmm.
very rare, very rare. When I go to these conferences, KOCT is one of the longest running in the country, and
Hmm.
it's such a point of pride. We're like a unicorn at this point in the PEG channel world.
Uh-huh.
A PEG channel is public education and government,
Hmm.
and they were put out in the 60s as an act to help freedom fighters and to have fairness. So that's what we've been steering the course ever since, ever since.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. You've kind of talked about how KOCT has evolved throughout the years, and you've brought in, your search for community information, and then also to be able to tell those stories. What kind of shows does KOCT have besides just sharing, the city council meetings or obviously nonprofit stories? Do you guys have any specific shows that you have developed that kind of just air, weekly, or can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, but it is a unique, we're a unique place because we are literally a 24/7, 7 days a week television station. We have two channels as well, as I just mentioned, channel 18 and channel 19.
Mhm.
And I have programmers that help program those channels. So we have everything from um, pet pals
Mhm.
to the Humane Society, local Humane Society show, who we've just won an Emmy with. That was really exciting. We have Nat Geo, we have
Mhm.
documentaries, we collect all our city partners information whenever they want it aired. We air all the projects that we shoot for the city.
Mhm.
Um, right now, we have a show on sewing, a big show on sewing.
Mhm.
We have sit yoga, which is very popular. We have, I mean, it goes on and on. We're locally shooting sports. It's a very exciting venture now. As we're shooting every Friday, we're going to do Friday Night Lights now. We're bringing sports
Awesome.
back to KOCT.
Mhm.
Very exciting. We're working with Oceanside High School and El Camino High School, and we're shooting water polo and baseball. And so we're building our content with our partners and all the movement in the city and the community. So it's been very exciting. We have,
Absolutely.
if you go to KOCT.org, there's both schedules. It's
Okay.
a week's worth of schedules, and it tells you what is playing at what time. So if you have Cox Cable, you should check us out. That's what I really would. I mean, people are starting to come up to us on the street saying, I'm starting to watch. It's really cool. I mean, we've got a cool little channel here.
Mhm.
It's all localized. I mean, we have national documentaries or, of course, that kind of information or educational component. But truly, we are a localized station. So it is, you will be familiar with what you're seeing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the idea of being local, I think is huge, especially as we're coming out of the pandemic and trying to, rebuild parts of our city that were unfortunately affected by all of that. I think that's huge. And even, when I'm going through social media and I'm looking at your updates, I'm seeing, every event in Oceanside is almost covered by you guys. It's like, that's huge to get that out. And I know it means so much to our community. Not only the businesses, but the individuals who are wanting to support local. I think that's huge.
Yes, like we just shot the 9/11
Mhm.
um, Remembrance Walk.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, that was beautiful. I had chills saying it.
Yeah.
We all put a lot of love in that edit, and Tyler did a great job. And
Mhm.
boy, oh boy, to capsulate those moments has just been amazing. Our 40 years. Oh, it's been amazing to go through our archives. We're
Mhm.
doing. I wanted to do a 40-day countdown to our big party that we're having on October 8th, and we're going through hundreds and thousands of archives.
Mhm.
And that's when you realize how you can encapsulate a moment,
Yeah.
how powerful video is, how powerful storytelling is, and just, I don't know if you've seen what we've been posting lately, but
Mhm.
the surf contests and
Yeah.
I mean, it's endless. And oh my gosh, I remember that. If you're from here, or the
Mhm.
parades, and it's amazing to look back on that, and it's even more of an honor to look forward. And to
Yeah.
help and live in the present day. Like what you just said about COVID, that
Mhm.
was a very KOCT kept our doors open. We were not
Mhm.
closed one single day from that March 13th announcement. We went down to City Hall. We were there
Mhm.
in the emergency
Yeah.
meetings. We steered the course, and that's it's important to have that front lines dedication. And I think so many people were Oceanside strong and are
Yeah.
Oceanside strong. And I think that's the beauty of Oceanside as well, as
Mhm.
we really do band together. Like I
Mhm.
think, didn't you
Yeah.
find it an amazing error, the pandemic?
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean? Like without
yeah.
seeing, I mean, I got to know a lot of people through the pandemic as well.
Yeah, a lot of people and make a lot of connections. And I think the beauty of it too, though, is that we did see things like Oceanside coming together and being strong and wanting to support
Yes.
local and eating at local restaurants. I mean, you guys, like you said, were a huge part of that, getting to city council meetings and sharing that information.
Yeah.
And I
We
think it kind of just brought the community closer together and recognizing more things that are going on because they were more involved in city council meetings as you guys were able to share. So
yeah,
that was a huge part.
we brought Visit Oceanside and
Mhm.
Main Street and all the partners in to make announcements when no one could. And I'd like to clarify, I don't mean that it was an amazing error. I
Right.
don't believe that the pandemic is amazing. I believe the human spirit was amazing through it. Is what I mean.
Absolutely.
There was boy, oh boy, that was, don't you think so? That was
Oh
incredible.
yeah. Oh
Wow.
yeah.
Oh,
As awful as it was, there was beauty, and I think we need to look at that beauty.
the food distribution and the
Yes,
nurses and the doctor. It was. I
absolutely.
mean, we were being reached out to, and we were reaching out, and I think that's where Oceanside. I truly do hope that everyone bands together and helps each other succeed in this next year, because the landscape has altered so much,
Oh
So
yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
hope.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, can you, for our audience members who are listening, can you give them like a snapshot of um kind of what your space looks like, what your set looks like, in case anybody ever was to come on set with you guys? Kind of, can you just give me like a in the minute look at what it would be?
Well, we've worked super hard since I've been here. It was important to develop a large green screen.
Mhm,
I had a buddy of mine from ABC come here, and so we have a state of the art 22 by 20 green screen. It's an infinity green screen as well, even, and we have an infinity cyc wall as well, which is it means it's curved and you can shoot any of your products or anything that you need on it. It's just beautiful, I
mhm,
think. KOCT is on Industry Street. We've been here for 32 years, and we used to be on Apple Street.
mhm,
And we've stayed the course here. We've shrank down. We used to have this entire building, but our space is very comfortable. It's very welcoming.
mhm,
We have a large sound stage, and we have some sets that we've made.
mhm,
We're always looking to make new ones. And other than our cyc wall and our green screen, we have a large sound stage that we shoot on. We even now have a podcast camcast room that's soundproofed. It's amazing and comfortable.
mhm,
And you can come and see. That's what I'm starting to try to build now, is a community podcast camcast room.
mhm.
uh, we have offices and a place to change. We have a makeup area and a green room, and we're like a regular studio right
Mhm.
here in Oceanside. It's pretty cool actually. When
Yeah.
people come here, they're like, "Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't know you were here." It's like,
Right.
yeah, we're one of those hidden jewels. I think it's important to care about your brand and what
Mhm.
you're putting out there. I think you've worked really hard to have a company or a business or a nonprofit. I think people dedicate their hearts to their passions, and I think that their image should reflect the same. I
Mhm.
think we worked really hard over here, no matter what we're doing, to try to help people mirror that out into the world. When you really,
Absolutely.
it's been an honor actually through my whole career. People always start, asking me about Hollywood or Tom Cruise or something.
Yeah.
And um, when I always start talking about the unsung heroes, like that, the last 20 years of my career has been
Mhm.
just awesome with helping brand and people finding their voice. And we did the Women's Resource Center, and that was a really
Yeah.
big honor. And we consider all of these a respectful honor and just inspiring.
Mhm.
It's inspiring to try to engage our community and people who have never heard of such important people,
Mhm.
um, to act and to make a call to action. I think that's what it's about, is information and calling to actions. And there's room for everyone. Like video has taken over
Yeah.
everything. When I started, i I was the only filmmaker in most rooms.
Mhm.
I just think it's been an amazing thing to witness how it comes to action, and how
Yeah.
people need to be creative. And what do you do? How do you do that? What is your first step? And I think a lot of people don't know that, and they don't
Mhm.
have to know that. That doesn't have to be their gift. If
Right.
you're a great CEO, or you're a great, person who brings things together. But a lot of people do not know how to turn on a camera still, or some people do not have the time. And I think
Right.
that's where it's important that you should bring in people who've dedicated all their mind space and heart space to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that kind of leads into our next question, which is how can community members or businesses be featured on KOCT? And obviously, you're looking for community or local content, but is there any other kind of content you might be interested in?
We have a lot of new shows at KOCT and a lot of new content. What's been very exciting is getting new underwriters and show sponsors. Uh, that has helped us tremendously. You know, if anyone is interested in a subject or a show that they're interested in producing, then you can have KOCT help produce it as well. We've gotten people from different places and they come in and they produce their own shows. We started to do the North County news briefs, which is awesome. I'm starting to go out in the field and find people or companies or missions to spotlight. We have a great little segment called On the Scene with Eileen. Eileen will meet with me and we'll come up with some great ideas to go out and feature some interesting activities normally. You know, normally it's an activity. We have Oceanside Spectrum, which is a show we shoot once a month for the City of Oceanside. And if you're a nonprofit, you can be a guest on that. It's our most popular show, and it's really cool. Actually, you usually come on the month before and talk about what your event is the next month, or what you have going the next month. So Oceanside Spectrum, you know, has a big reach, and that's a great one for nonprofits. Normally, sometimes if you're a city partner, there's Update. KOCT also has Roundtable, which is a long-running show hosted by Kent Davey, who ran the North County Times, and Allison St. John, who's from KPBS. They've been amazing journalists and champions for the station here, and we cover everything from, you know, sand to voting to elections. It's been a long-running show where all the issues are discussed, and people are very engaged in that show. We get a lot of feedback with that show. And I love, I'm fascinated with parts of the city too. I love all the departments of the city. I think there's so many jobs and there's so many interesting departments, you know? That's been a really cool thing for me since I've been here, is to see, you know, all those hardworking folks and, you know, what they do, you know? From the engineers to the, you know, there's a lot going on in Oceanside. So, you know, the library, I think the library and the museum, boy, oh boy, things are going crazy there in the theaters. I mean,
always got something going on too.
Yes. You know, you being in the chamber, I can't even imagine how much you have going on.
Yeah, because of obviously COVID, everything was pushed back. So our events are kind of happening, but it's a crazy time in the world. I don't think anybody expected that. Literally, I think every single business has an event every weekend. So it's like, this is just a crazy event filled time, and some people are excited to get back out there. Some are a little bit, you know, on the fence about it, but there's definitely a lot of things to do and a lot of information to be shared and covered.
On October 8th, we have ours.
Yes.
We have our 40 years of KOCT party, and it's almost sold out. So that's very exciting. It really will be a fun night. And I just wanted to pay tribute, you know, just to people. And I want people to pay tribute to us. You know? Right. You know, I don't think KOCT asks for a lot. And it's so, it is funny. It's one of the first big parties we're having in a really long time. It'd be really neat if people could try to support what we do. You know, we too are a nonprofit. We too need help in donations. And I think our donations are really important as well, because I would love to get out and do many stories out there on people, you know, and that takes a lot.
If community members, you know, want to get involved, can you just give us your website and any social media handles or the best way to contact you?
Yes, if you'd like to get involved in KOCT, it's koct.org. You just go right to our website and there's a contact, or you could email me directly at
Hmm.
cstar, STARR, at koct.org. And I would love to hear from you and hear your feedback and see if you have any ideas or ways that you can get involved. KOCT has a very competitive and hands-on internship program. It's something that I'm really proud of. We work with all of the colleges, and if you come to KOCT, it's one of the only places in North County from here to San Diego that you can get on the cameras and get on teleprompters and sound. And if you have an idea of that you want to go into communications, KOCT is a very influential place for that. We keep our interns, we try to hire our interns, or we send them off to networks or Hollywood, just like myself. And it's a really great kind of feel. Everyone is here to ask questions, and I believe in that philosophy, the passing the torch philosophy, and I think it's a really important thing to announce to people that internships and volunteerism is very big here at KOCT to help keep us afloat.
Yeah, and I think that would also be a great opportunity for somebody to get involved with you guys who are so local and who are covering local stories. Because even if somebody does go on to Hollywood and something bigger than local, everyone always returns, I think, back. And
Well, look
just
at me.
knowing the importance, knowing the importance of community-based stuff and
Yeah,
and being local. I think that's a huge value lesson just to learn. So I
yes.
think that's a great opportunity.
I think it's awesome for the community to understand. People come back to me and they'll
Hmm.
say, not every city has a television station. It is
Hmm.
a very rare, unique.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like a unicorn in a field, I always say.
Yeah.
And there isn't a California channel anymore.
Hmm.
There's so many that do not exist. So KOCT should be considered a really cool new
A,
other component to our
yes.
system.
A
Wow.
relic of Oceanside, I would
Yes,
say.
yeah. That's what makes us unique. When I talk to
Hmm.
people from other cities and people in the city of other cities, they're
Hmm.
saying, "Wow, it's so rad that you guys have that."
Yeah. Oh, I
So
absolutely agree with that.
I'm glad that we're glad for the support always.
Hmm.
I think part of our 40-year success are the people who are here at KOCT. I truly believe in every person in this building
Hmm.
and people who come and go here at KOCT. I think we do feel like we are a family, and we've coined the term Team KOCT
Hmm.
because boy, we do so much with so little.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how proud I am of my hardworking crew and all the people that are here, from our interns to the producers to the editors. We have the most beautiful people who work here that truly love your city. They
Yeah.
just love KOCT, and none of this could happen if
Hmm.
without Team KOCT. So I'm truly grateful for us to work together every day like that.
Absolutely. Well, we've covered a lot in this interview, and I just have one final question for you. And what does it mean to you to advance Oceanside?
I think KOCT's part in advancing Oceanside could be showing the world our authenticity as
Hmm.
well. Uh, Hearing people's voices and capturing missions and being a true representation of the city has been an honor. And I think that every day we try to go out there to bring more attention and spotlight to our
Hmm.
amazing city. I believe our internships and education component of our channel is needed in the world. Our non-biased approach
Yeah.
uh, to our stories is needed in the world. And I think that the love of a nonprofit and
Hmm.
how we hold dear everyone in this community is our way always of giving back to our community and moving us forward.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. And thank you so much, like I said, for joining me today and for sharing everything that you guys do. I love the local aspect of it. Obviously, here at the Chamber, we're all about supporting local, but you guys truly are a definition of an Oceanside local and someone who's really supporting the community. So thank you for taking the time out of your day, and good luck with your 40th anniversary. We're really excited about it. I know it's going to be an awesome time for you guys, but ever need anything here at the Chamber, we're here for you. And I hope to speak with you soon.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Advancing Oceanside Podcast, brought to you by the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. Continue with us on our journey to help inform, better educate, and ultimately advocate for Oceanside. You can view all of our other podcasts on any podcast listening locations, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or visit our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to catch all the latest updates on all things Oceanside. Join us next week as we host another influential leader from our community.